Welcome back, everyone. And I would also like to welcome back our speaker, Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin. Dr. Kim has a plethora of backgrounds, including she's an entrepreneur, she's a speaker, an author, an actress, licensed clinical psychologist, counselor, professor, executive life coach, and also a TV host. So, Dr. Kim, welcome back. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you so much, Dori. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Well, I'm hoping our listeners heard the first part of your interview. If not, they're going to have to go back and check that out. But one thing that we didn't get to talk about was family time and how that affects our kids' emotions and basically our whole family's time. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, I think it's important that we engage with our children on a daily basis. Family time is so important. There is a statement that says a family that prays together stays together. A family that communicates will continue to allow themselves to navigate through different aspects in life. The key word is navigation. We need to understand that we're all different components within the household, different personalities, and how do we merge that together by having family time? That's why the family picnics are so important. Dinner together, sitting around the table. But it's gotten to the point, dad comes in at 8 o'clock, mom's home cooking dinner, the children are in their rooms. Everyone comes in and grabs something to eat and go back to their various places. No, we're going to sit down and have family dinner. And we would do that. I made sure we would have family dinner and come together and fellowship. And I still am a part of a fellowship within my church where on some Saturdays after church, I'm invited to different places to, have dinner because I lost my husband in 2016. My two daughters relocated to Los Angeles, California. And it's still important that I have family time with my church family, with my peers, and when I go out to visit my children. So family time is crucial. It helps us develop, helps us to be able to develop our communicative skills, helps us to grow so that we will know and listen and listen to reply. There's a difference. So sometimes we need to sit down during family time and just listen to our children. It's not what they say, it's what they don't say. You have to listen for what cues, their nonverbal cues. So if my child is sitting at the table like this or playing in their food, they're not saying anything. Those are red flags. And I say that all the time. Look out for the red flags. I even have like this, I keep these for my family, red flags. And so I said, what red flags do we have today? I used to use that at dinner, and then sometimes I would say, okay, I surrender. Mommy and daddy, we're listening. Mommy, daddy, you're not listening to me. Okay, white flag goes up. I'm listening, and I will not interrupt you because I want to get rid of the red flags in my home. All right.
Those are great visuals too, because they probably, the act of choosing to surrender and to actually listen, the kids will probably really identify with that versus you just saying, all right, just go ahead and tell me. And sometimes our like you were saying, our nonverbals are kind of like, go ahead and just tell me, like you really aren't letting yourself listen. So that's great.
Thank you, Dori.
Do you think that family time could be something as simple as just playing a game?
Oh, yes. Scrabble, Monopoly, those were our games, and Operation. We used to sit around and play Operation, and if we hit the sides of it, it would buzz. So we would have a great time. We would do Twister, and everybody's falling all over the place. We would play our Bible games. It would just be wonderful just to sit around the table, and just sit around the table having a great time. So time is something that is important. And if you don't use that time, you can never get it back. So go out or pull out those family table games and have a good time together.
Yeah, I think as modern families, we tend to overpack our schedules. And so I've seen and I've experienced this myself. I've been guilty myself, but you see families that are chasing the older kids, let's say their sports schedules, and the younger kids are getting dragged along with them. And I think that that family time becomes sometimes car time. It becomes, something where they're, half hour at home where everybody is like relocating and grabbing things. So even those moments I would think would be important, right?
But almost for sure. And it also develops, emotional balance and how to play fair, how to engage, how to have camaraderie, team sports. That's why team sports are so important to come together. But team sports begin at home, how we work together as a team. And so that is very important as husbands and wives work together as a team. We have single parents who need to work together with their children and be a team. We've got to work together or our family's going to fall apart.
Yeah. So what if you're having family time, or if you just notice that your child is, you said, kind of pulling in, and they don't talk about it. They stay in that moment and you can't get it out of them. They're fine. How do you get that out of them? What do you do?
Well, one thing that is important, you may have to seek a mediator. You may need to get professional help because everyone can't reach everyone. And I've learned that there are some people I just can't reach, and I refer them to another doctor, another therapist. So you may have to look at getting a mediator because you've tried to communicate with your child, still cut you off, they isolate themselves. Something is going on, and they may be being bullied in school, may be using some type of substance abuse, they may be involved with human trafficking. You just don't know. So this is why it's so important to seek out professional help at that time.
Yeah.
Don't say, "Oh, we have it. We'll figure it out. We don't want anyone in our business." They'll grow out of it. But this month, Dori, is Mental Health Suicidal Prevention Month. We are losing our children to suicide. If you see the red flags, don't be prideful. Get your child or your children the necessary counseling, psychological or psychiatric help they need.
Yeah. And are there red flags that you could tell people about, even with the younger kids, I would assume?
Oh, most definitely. Isolation is one. They're withdrawn. They don't want to communicate. They go right to their room. One lady who came to see me, a parent, her daughter was 8 months pregnant. She says, "How did I miss this?" And I said, "Tell me, what was her daily activity? What was her routine?" She would come in, "Hi, mom. I'm in my bedroom." And she goes right to her room. "You want to come down and get something to eat?" "Oh, I'll come get something later. Just leave it on the counter." She never saw her daughter until she looked at her one day and she was 8 months pregnant. And so you're looking at missing all these signs. We have to be what is called whistleblowers, and even in our own home. So isolation, withdrawal, the lack of engaging, loss of appetite, crying, insomnia. They want to sleep all the time. And I know our children have growing spurts. Also, they don't want to allow themselves to. They're not doing their homework. They're failing in school. Or they're skipping school. And why? Wait, I dropped my child off at the front door. Well, as soon as you drove off, they went another way. Even in elementary schools, they are leaving the campuses. So we have to be on our alert, and communicate with our administrators in our schools, our teachers. It's very, very important that we do that. And we need to let our children know, no matter what happens, if you get in trouble, come to me. I'm your parent. I will be your voice to help get this worked out because you didn't make the right choice. So I have to help you make the right choice now.
When you're talking about schools too, sometimes parents are afraid to actually get overly involved, or they feel like, I don't want to be one of those parents. But in some ways, you really kind of need to advocate for your kids, right?
Almost definitely. I remember my daughter, she was in her senior year of college and there was an incident. And she called us, and my husband and I got in the car and drove all the way to Huntsville, Alabama. And we met with her professor. I need her to pass this class. but there were some things that she did not do that he allowed her to do so that, but he saw that the fact that her parents was so involved and he had compassion. Some professors would say, and I'm a professor. I've had parents come to my classroom. Why did you give my child an F? I said, I want you to watch your child. So I teach speech 101, 102, 105. And the child got up to speak, the young adult got up to speak. She was 18, 19. And the parent said, I would have given her an F too. You didn't do your work. You didn't practice. You didn't study. And one thing about me, I'm always ready to be your audience. So with young children, we need to be involved. We need to talk to their teachers. We need to make our presence known. We need to understand what are the boundaries, the ethics, the code of ethics in the school. What is going on with my child? What is going on with my child? All right.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and that's really important. And I think, like you said in the beginning, having that awareness of what your child isn't saying and the body gestures that they're using is really important. So you have to really know your child from the very beginning.
Yes, you do, because the characteristics, the personality, you need to understand what has been developed in your child, and also watch the shift, because now they're being influenced by the environment, peers. They're going to school, they're being taught different things in the school books. So they come back home. Well, what did you learn today? Remember that we used to do that. What did you learn today? Versus mom, dad, I'm home. All right, go upstairs, do your homework. No, come down, let's sit around the table. What did you learn about history? What did you learn in your English class? Mom, what's a past participle? I don't get it. Mom, what's a verb? The 8 parts of speech. And I remember my mom, she was fluent English, everything. And she would say, all right, this is what we're going to do. Noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective stands alone. The 3 Johns: conjunction, interjection, and preposition. And those were the 8 parts of speech. That's how my mother taught them to us. Because I was like, well, the noun modifies the pronoun and the verb. What is going on with the 8 classification? But mom taught it to us in a way that we would really understand it. That's our duty. And we found out through COVID that our parents were like, wow, I don't get this math. I don't understand this English. I don't know how to navigate my child. And we saw a decline in academics during COVID. So it's our responsibility to learn how to do that math, learn how to do that English. We have to be available and accessible to help our children. And if not, get them a tutor to be able to help. But while that tutor comes, you sit there and you also learn how to do it.
Yeah, so you're really actively involved in their education, their whole beings, really.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I was very involved. My husband, my mom, my dad, we were very involved in the education of growing our children. Oh, yes. And I still am, Dory, because I have a 21-year-old in college. I'm still very involved with her schoolwork.
I think that's great, honestly. I think that's admirable that you have that relationship, that you've built that relationship over time, and that she is allowing you to be part of her life, because a lot of kids will get older, and if they don't have that relationship from the beginning, they're going to kind of do their own thing and just not worry about you, right?
That's right. That's exactly correct. So
Yeah.
I want her to feel comfortable, feel safe. This is a safe place. That you can come to me, your mother, and I'll help you in any way I can. Yes. And our children need to know that they are in a safe place and that you will help them. If you can't, I'm going to find someone that's going to help you. We're not going to let you down.
Yes. Okay, I have time for one more question, and I just
Okay.
am really, really curious. You were talking about COVID and how it has influenced us. Out of curiosity, do you think that the social media and all of the technology that we have has influenced our kids as far as their emotions and their development?
Almost definitely. Our children will go to YouTube and find out how to do negative behavior because they want to fit in. They will go into different aspects of the social media and how they feel that their life should be led. They look at the entertainers or celebrities and what will it take for me to have that? Or, if you're not happy, use alcohol, use drugs, use pills. If you're not happy, it's okay to start having sexual relationships at 10, 11, 12, and our children are finding coping mechanisms to deal with their pain, to deal with their hurts, to escape. So the social media has played a good role. There's a lot of good things on social media and YouTube. But however, there are a lot of negative devices or negative followings our children will follow to be able to cope with their life because they don't have that engaging in the home. They don't have that round table discussion. No one cares. No one is there. So that's okay. I'll join the game. I'll get involved in I'll start, going to a strip club and I'll put on a lot of makeup, look like I'm 18 and I'm really just 14 and nobody knows. And I'll get some fake ID because I found out how to do that on the internet. So we've got to really be keyed in to what our children, go through their phones, go through their computer logs, see what their histories are. See, and even if they delete it, you can find out what they're still doing. Find out who they're talking to. You're paying that cell phone bill. You're paying an internet bill. You are the parent. Know your role and don't be afraid to be the parent. We are not here to be best friends with our children. We have a role as parents. I love the fact that I'm friends with my children, but they have best friends, their peer group, but I am here to be your parent. I'm here to help guide you, instruct you, to love you, to pray with you, to develop your spiritual growth, your emotional development. I want you to be whole and healthy. And I want you to be able to function in a way that this is passed on to the next generation, to the next generation, and the next generation of our family. Yes, we're going to have disappointments and difficulties, but overall, by God's help and grace, we can be whole and we can be a loving family.
That's beautiful. I love it. That's just perfect too. We're out of time today. Dr. Kim, thank you so much for your time. You have so much great applicable advice, and I appreciate your passion for these kids and these families.
Thank you, Dori. Thank you. And may God continue to bless the work that you're doing, Dori, and your family. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing and talking with you in the near future.
Oh, me too. Thank you, Kim. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.